What if I told you that after years of relentless rent increases that price millions out of their neighborhoods, the power dynamic in America's rental market is finally reversing? From 2020 through 2023, property owners held overwhelming leverage. They hiked rents by hundreds monthly, expecting desperate tenants to pay whatever it took. But 2025 has flipped that equation. The control landlords wielded is evaporating. Cities that recently overflowed with bidding wars now face floods of vacant units. For the first time in over a decade, rents aren't just stabilizing. They're dropping hard, in some markets by double digits. Developers overbuilt, investors stretched thin chasing yields, and renters reached their breaking point. Before we count down the top 10 cities where rent is crashing and landlords are scrambling, subscribe for weekly breakdowns of housing market transformations reshaping America. Across major metros, discounts, move-in deals, and months of free rent have suddenly reappeared. Landlords are competing, tenants are negotiating, and the rental landscape is shifting faster than anyone anticipated. Number 10. Austin, Texas. Austin's spectacular rise has given way to an equally dramatic fall. The Texas capital that crowned itself the next Silicon Valley is watching that dream crumble in real time. Average rent has crashed 14% year over year, marking one of the sharpest drops anywhere in the Sun Belt. Those luxury towers that appeared overnight during the tech boom, many now sit partially vacant, their rooftop pools echoing with silence instead of crowds. Property owners offer desperate incentives: 3 months free rent, 0 deposits, even concert tickets just to attract tenants through the door. The foundation cracked when Meta, Oracle, and Tesla announced massive layoffs across their Austin operations, eliminating thousands of the high-income renters who fueled the rental surge. The Silicon Hills moniker, once worn as a badge of pride, now feels painfully ironic. In upscale developments like the Independent and 70 Rainey, vacancy rates have hit levels not seen in a decade. Even East Austin, the creative heartbeat that defined the city's cultural identity, has landlords slashing prices just to stand out in a flooded market. Investors who paid peak pandemic prices for luxury condos, assuming endless demand would continue, now watch profit margins vanish under heavy loan payments and dwindling tenant pools. For renters, though, this marks the long-awaited turning point. The city that became unaffordable practically overnight is finally shifting leverage back to the people who actually live and work there. Number 9. Miami, Florida. Miami's rental surge was absolutely blinding. Powered by crypto wealth, pandemic-era relocations, and international buyers chasing prestige and sunshine, the city transformed into a playground where rents soared more than 60% between 2020 and 2022. Locals were priced out, while sleek downtown towers became towering monuments to extravagance. By 2025, that shimmering fantasy has collapsed. Rents dropped roughly 11% in a single year, and vacancies are climbing steadily throughout Brickell, downtown Miami, and Miami Beach. Those highly promoted luxury buildings with panoramic ocean views and extravagant pool decks now throw out every incentive imaginable. Free parking, waived move-in fees, even gift cards worth thousands of dollars just to convince someone to sign a lease. The problem runs far deeper than softening demand. It's mounting expenses, crushing property owners. Insurance premiums have tripled in the wake of recent hurricane seasons, leaving landlords barely staying afloat. HOA fees are jumping sharply as buildings scramble to comply with Florida's tougher post-collapse safety regulations following the Surfside tragedy. Put it all together, and countless investors are bleeding money month after month. For some, the situation has already tipped into disaster. Units that once sold for $900,000 are either struggling to reach $700,000 or sitting on the market for months with no offers at all. Airbnb operators, once thriving thanks to vacationers flocking to the beach, are packing up as tourism cools down and upkeep costs eat away any chance of profit. Even foreign buyers, long Miami's financial backbone, are pulling away, unnerved by increasing storm threats and the non-stop stream of special assessments. From a distance, Miami still looks like a postcard: turquoise water, glossy skyline, sun hitting every glass tower just right. But underneath that glamorous surface, the numbers no longer add up. In 2025, Miami stands as a stark warning to every boomtown. When luxury dramatically outpaces reality, even paradise can crack. Number 8. Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta was sold as the exception, the southern city that truly balanced it all. With a thriving job scene, reasonably priced homes, and a steady wave of new residents arriving from both coasts, it looked like the smartest bet in the region. Developers responded with confidence, pumping billions into sprawling apartment projects stretching from Midtown to Sandy Springs. Between 2021 and 2024, more than 50,000 new rental units came online, far exceeding what the city was realistically able to absorb. Now, in 2025, that optimism has snapped. Rents have slipped about 9% compared to last year. Vacancies are rising across nearly every neighborhood, and developers who once bragged about full wait lists are starting to sweat. High-rises that used to fill within days are sitting half vacant. Landlords are dangling every perk imaginable: months of free rent, complimentary parking, waived security deposits, hoping to coax tenants back through the doors. But oversupply isn't the whole story. The deeper issue is affordability hitting a wall. Wages have stalled across most sectors. Inflation has chipped away at whatever financial cushion households had left. And the return of student loan payments is squeezing younger renters, especially millennials and Gen Z, forcing more people to room together, move back in with parents, or simply pack up and leave the metro altogether. Even the suburbs, which once felt untouchable, are getting pulled into the downturn. Places like Cobb County, Gwinnett, and Henry County are seeing single-family rentals that used to disappear instantly now lingering on the market. Short-term rental owners are cutting prices just to keep their properties afloat. For years, Atlanta was praised as the blueprint for sustainable, affordable expansion. But now, it's becoming a showcase for what happens when growth loses balance. The cranes kept spinning long after demand tapped out. The city didn't collapse all at once, it was a slow squeeze. Developers focused on luxury over need. Landlords banked on tenants endlessly stretching their budgets. And when reality finally caught up, so did the consequences. Number 7. Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas has always lived on extremes: big wins, hard losses. In 2025, it's the landlords who are taking the hit. For a long stretch, the city looked unstoppable. People fled California in droves, chasing cheaper housing and a fresh start. Investors grabbed properties as fast as they could. Short-term rentals multiplied across the valley, and it seemed like the boom would never slow down. But this year, the momentum has vanished. Since 2023, rents have fallen close to 10%, and vacancy rates have nearly doubled. Large apartment communities in places like Henderson and Summerlin now have entire sections sitting empty. The Strip might still glow every night, but the reality beneath that shine is far less glamorous. The rental market is severely oversaturated. Tourism, the lifeblood of Las Vegas, still hasn't bounced back to full strength. Casinos are hiring fewer workers. Conventions aren't drawing the crowds they used to, and service employees are earning smaller tips than before. At the same time, thousands of Airbnbs that once thrived on weekend travelers are now being dumped into the long-term market as owners desperately try to salvage their earnings. Homes that used to command $2,400 a month are now struggling to attract renters at $1,900, with little interest either way. Landlords who bought at peak pandemic prices are cutting rents just to cover costs. And many small investors who expected fast cash flow are quietly bowing out, selling properties for less than they paid to avoid sinking even deeper. Yet even with so much empty housing, more units keep arriving. Developers are finishing projects that were green-lit during the height of optimism, flooding the market with another round of upscale apartments that few renters are actually asking for. In 2025, Las Vegas carries an unsettling sense of déjà vu, echoes of the 2008 crash, but dressed in a new era's clothing. The city is once again grappling with the consequences of oversized bets and unrealistic expectations. The lights are still bright, the skyline still dazzling. But behind that spectacle lies a reminder. When speculation runs wild and the fundamentals don't keep up, the house eventually wins. And this time, it's not the landlords. Number 6. Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, the Sunbelt's blazing center, is cooling faster than anyone imagined. Population growth sent construction into overdrive. Entire communities in Chandler, Glendale, and Mesa appeared overnight. By 2025, the city drowns in excess supply. Over 30,000 new apartments hit the market in 1 year, far more than Phoenix can fill. Rents tumbled 12%. Buildings with long wait lists now plead for tenants with free rent. Furnished units, prepaid utilities, insurance and maintenance costs surged. Investors who paid peak prices are underwater, owing more than properties could sell for. Phoenix's job market tightens as high interest rates and slower migration reduce incoming paychecks. Phoenix isn't merely cooling, it's undergoing full correction. A metro built expecting 10 million residents confronts demand, barely supporting 8. Unchecked expansion hit its limit. Number 5. Dallas, Texas. Dallas carried an aura of invincibility. Major companies relocated. Young professionals filled uptown high-rises. Investors praised the market as unstoppable. By 2025, that belief shattered. Rents in Uptown, Plano, and Frisco dropped 10%. Class A vacancies hit decade highs. Developers built far beyond what markets could absorb. Tens of thousands of units came online as inflation ate spending power and interest rates stayed high. Landlords roll out desperate incentives, free utilities, complimentary parking, rent credits. Dallas sits trapped in a feedback loop, too many luxury units, insufficient, affordable options. Even corporate sector strength can't rescue this. Tech and finance employers freeze hiring, reducing newcomer demand. The city still looks stunning from distance, but at street level, the narrative shifts. Even Texas engines sputter out. Number 4. Boise, Idaho. Boise was the pandemic darling, a quiet mountain city transformed into America's housing sensation. Remote workers fled major metros with cash, triggering bidding wars. Developers scrambled, convinced demand would never fade. By 2025, rents dropped 13%. Vacancies rise faster than anywhere in the Mountain West. Downtown apartments that leased in days sit untouched for months. Developers created supply for Silicon Valley incomes. Boise's workforce, teachers, nurses, service staff never had those paychecks. They watched rents hit $2,000, then watched Californians who drove that surge leave. Suburbs like Meridian and Eagle take hits. Construction sites go quiet. Investors unload properties at losses. Local businesses cut hours or close. Landlords drop rents $300 to $500, but units stay empty. Boise's lesson: when migration stops and hype evaporates, reality returns. Number 3. Denver, Colorado. Denver leads the nation with rents down 7% year over year. Buildings that commanded premium pricing now compete aggressively with concessions and outright rent cuts. Construction boom means buildings fight just to fill units. Agents say units that once leased mid-tour now sit empty for weeks. Denver built luxury when it needed affordability. Young professionals priced into corners are leaving for cheaper alternatives. Property, taxes, and insurance costs rise while rental income falls, creating brutal squeeze. Denver's warning: even desirable lifestyle cities have limits. When construction outpaces demand and luxury floods markets, while workforce housing stays scarce, the imbalance corrects painfully. Number 3. Seattle, Washington. For the first time in over a decade, Seattle's skyline tells a different story. After years of nonstop expansion, soaring rents, and cranes crowding the horizon, 2025 delivered a sobering correction. Rents fell roughly 10%. Gleaming towers that symbolize limitless opportunity now struggle with empty floors. Tech's unraveling explains much. Layoffs at Amazon, Microsoft, and startup failures gutted the renter base that sustained the boom. Downtown buildings that bragged about waitlists now offer cash incentives and months of free rent. In Capitol Hill, South Lake Union, and Belltown neighborhoods, where discounts were unheard of, luxury apartments openly advertise price cuts. Suburban hubs like Bellevue, Redmond, and Kirkland face the same pattern. Renewal rates drop, residents move out. Several large projects have been paused or abandoned, leaving skeletal, half-finished structures scattered across the skyline as silent monuments to the belief that demand would always outpace supply. The pandemic changed how people think about work, space, and lifestyle. Many who once prioritized Seattle's prestige and tech culture now choose smaller, calmer cities or different states where dollars stretch further. The outward migration isn't enormous, but it's steady, and every household that leaves takes another slice of the city's stability with it. For landlords, the shift has been humbling. Renters negotiate again, pushing for flexible terms, lower prices, and concessions unthinkable only years ago. Those shimmering glass towers, long the architectural symbols of innovation, now reflect a tougher truth. The market isn't invincible. Seattle still looks breathtaking in the mist. But underneath that shine lies fragility, a reminder that even a tech-powered economy has limits. The tremors shaking this city aren't from the earth, but from an industry learning it can't grow forever. Number 2. San Francisco, California. San Francisco embodies collapse. The innovation epicenter's rental market is unrecognizable. Rents plunged 15% in a year. Downtown vacancy rates smashed all records. Towers that commanded $4,000 monthly struggle at $3,000 with incentives. The tech exodus never reversed. Remote work became permanent. Downtown transformed into quiet glass corridors lined with permanent for-lease signs. Landlords beg for occupants as costs, taxes, insurance, maintenance erase profits. Investors bought at peak pricing, now stuck unable to refinance without massive losses. Beyond numbers, perception damage. Safety and quality of life concerns push renters faster than discounts attract them. Many choose Sacramento or Austin instead. Local culture suffers. Restaurants, shops, galleries close, removing what made the city irreplaceable. Tech companies leave for cheaper hubs. The irony. The city that set the benchmark for high housing costs now shows how low markets sink when foundations collapse. San Francisco's transformation warns what happens when innovation outpaces sustainability. Number 1. New York City. The giant no one expected to stumble, New York City. For generations, its rental market felt untouchable. Every crisis, recessions, pandemics, crashes, demands snap back. In 2025, that myth is losing power. Manhattan rents dropped 12%. Brooklyn and Queens see declines near 15%. For the first time in decades, renters hold leverage. Free months, waived deposits, upgraded appliances, incentives vanished years ago, returned. Developers convinced wealth would flood in now watch gleaming towers overlook half-empty streets. Job cuts across finance, tech, and media gut the high-earning renter base. International buyers retreat, spooked by instability and rising costs. High-end billionaires' row rentals get staggering discounts. Mid-tier building owners face brutal refinancing terms. Smaller landlords whisper about foreclosure. Young professionals once willing to sacrifice everything for tiny Manhattan studios now choose Charlotte, Nashville, Philadelphia. More space, less pressure. New York's energy and character remain, but fewer people can afford staying. The downturn isn't explosive, it's gradual, intentional recognition that even here, growth has limits. For the first time in memory, New Yorkers say it. The empire of rent hit its ceiling. Across the country, something bigger is unfolding. For the first time in over a decade, renters have the upper hand. The era of bidding wars and relentless rent hikes is giving way to empty apartments, sliding prices, and landlords scrambling to adapt. But this shift is about more than numbers. It's a change in mindset. Millions are questioning whether renting or buying makes sense when living costs rise while wages stand still. Developers chase luxury. Renters wanted livable homes. The imbalance caught up with everyone. Some cities will bounce back, others may shrink. But the lesson is universal. No housing market can outrun reality forever. If this breakdown opened your eyes, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share. What we're seeing today is only the beginning.